Welcome back, everyone. So, in this episode, we're going to get right to it. Not much was able to happen in the last episode, but I think in this episode, we can accomplish quite a bit. So, let's get started on episode 20 of our Let's Play series of the Direwolf mod pack for 1.12.2. So, we're going to jump right into it. We need those Dynamos, and we're going to need some facades to make it look a little bit better. So, let's see here. Let's find the Dynamos on our listing here. There we go. So we're going to be using the compression dynamo, and that's going to be used for the creosote oil. And we're going to be using the steam dynamo, I think, for the normal function with the coal coke. I think this will work out really well for us. So with that, we're going to need some gears. So we'll need some copper gears. We'll need a redstone transmission coil for that one. And let's check the next one here. Let's see, compression, there we go. And it requires 10 gears and a transmission coil. So let's make 2 transmission coils, 2 tin gears, and 2 copper gears. So let's go over here. We'll need 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And we will need 8 of these. And 8 of these to make it simple. Okay, so let's make our gears real quick. Oh, and we could totally make our transmission coils, which all they require is silver and redstone. So let's grab those components while we're at it. Got those. And then for silver. Whoops. Okay, I was grabbing way too many at a time there. So, let's start by making our coils. And they're pretty simple and pretty easy. Now we have our redstone transmission coils. One of our many components required. So let's break down our copper here to get our 2 copper gears. And there you go. Easy peasy. Let's do the same thing with the tin. And there we go, got our 2 tin gears. Now let's make sure we have everything else that we're going to require for this. I'm also going to make some facades too. Just so you know, it's just as simple as having lead in the middle, 2 iron nuggets on the outside. And that'll make your structure ducts, which is what we're going to need to be able to make it look like there's nothing behind the machines. So we just made enough of 12 for 12 of those. So let's click on our steam dynamo here, our basic one. And let's see. Okay, so we're going to need some more iron and some more redstone. And for the compression dynamo, exactly the same thing. So let's just double it up. Let's grab 6 of these. And 2 of those. And that should be more than enough to make these dynamos that we require. And we'll only make 1 of each this time. Yeah, we don't need a little bit of stone there. And as our power requirements increase, we can do one of 2 things. We can increase the dynamo itself to make it a better dynamo, harden it, you know, and whatnot. But we can also just keep adding more. Either way will work, and either way we'll be able to do what we needed to do. So what we're going to do here is we're going to place down some piping, and then we'll just face each of them towards it. Oh, that didn't work out so well. There we go. Whoops. And there we go. So we got those 2 facing it. And what we'll do is we'll come down here and we'll replace our energy cell right here. And what we'll do is we'll change our outputs. So we'll go to the back and we'll change that into an input. And I haven't decided what our output's going to be, but we're also going to make the 2 sides inputs, because we'll put our generators back down, because we'll keep them as backup if we need additional power. So with the compression dynamo, it's going to require us to have 2 types of fuel. Maybe I got the wrong one. Let's see here. So let's look up creosote again real quick. There it is. So go to uses of it. And it says compression dynamo. It just says all you need is 1,000 millibuckets, or which is 1 bucket, to produce 100,000 energy. So we're going to have to test that out. And of course, you know the steam dynamo runs off of coal. And this should generate 40 RF on this one and 40 RF on this one. So let's put in a piece of coal. We'll test it with coal before we use our good stuff. Okay. We'll drop that right into the steam dynamo here. And it's going to require some water to go with it. So let's go upstairs. Let's get some water. We got our infinite water source right there. And I do not have a bucket on me. Are you serious? I totally forgot a bucket. That's what I get for emptying out my inventory to try to carry more items. You don't have your bucket with you. So we hit our bucket over here. And now we got it. Okay, so let's head back upstairs and let's get that water. Okay. Now, you guys may be wondering why I'm not just grabbing lava and using lava as a power source. Because a long time ago, I used lava a lot. I just pump it right out of the nether, whether I use an ender tank or whether I use something along those lines to transmit it between dimensions. And it was too easy. So I told myself I'm not going to do that anymore. So it's one of my personal rules not to use lava anymore to generate power, unless I absolutely have to, unless there's no other choice or something along those lines. I will force myself to use another form of power just to make it a little bit tougher on myself. So there we go. It is now generating 40 RF a tick off of the coal that we were able to place in there. So with that, we'll go over here, and this one has 7 different recipes. So we could use biofuel to generate 500,000. We can use naphtha, which will generate 1.25 million. And you got crystallized oil, which will do 400,000. Ethanol, which will do 500,000. So it looks like we can use tons of different types of oil here. Empowered oil, crude oil, you know. And then you got biogas, which will do 100,000. Biodiesel, which will do 500,000. And then you got tea oil, which I'll have to figure out how to make that one because it's 1 million. That's pretty good. And creosote oil for the 100,000. And then you got liquefacted coal, which will do 400,000. And refined canola oil, which will do 200,000. And then refined fuel will do 2 million. And regular canola oil will do 80,000, which isn't bad. It may even be worth using that. So let's see. How do you make tea oil? Let's see here. It takes resin by the looks of it. Yep, doesn't really say how to get it. So that's something else I have to look up. So let's take our oil over here, creosote oil, and let's add it to the compression dynamo. And let's turn it on. So we got one side full. I gotta figure out what goes in the other side for a compression dynamo. I'll definitely have to look up what it takes. So hold on one second. I'll be right back to figure out what it takes for the compression dynamo, what has to go in that other side. So that was a pretty easy fix. All you really have to do is use water and you'll be able to get what you need. Pretty simple, pretty simple. So now we have increased our power generation from the, I think it was 120 we have to 200 RF per tick, which is pretty good because our current machines, they only use 30 and 20, but if we're going to get into bees, if we're going to get into using that those farms, they're all going to consume more and more power. And with this, it's scalable, so we can just keep adding more and more dynamos to it. We can add more and more coal generators, and if we made the forest for the trees, we can turn those the logs into charcoal and just have a continually cycling system that's able to feed itself all that it needs to be able to make it happen. So what we're going to do is we'll set this up with an aqueous accumulator around a pool of water to be able to pump water into these dynamos. Plus we'll keep tanks on top to feed, especially the compression dynamo, the creosote oil, because all you gotta do is feed in a couple blocks of coal and you get a ton of creosote oil from that. So what we'll do is we'll add another 4 into each of those and it'll work out quite well. It fills up almost on just 2, so it works pretty well to be able to make all the power that we're gonna need in the coming episodes. So with that, I'm gonna go check on a few more things and we'll be back to check on this in a few minutes. So we're back, and I think at this point what we're gonna do to increase our power generation without having to build any more dynamos is we're going to upgrade these guys with some hardening kits. So there's a hardened upgrade kit that we can use. It is super simple and pretty easy to create. The first tier doesn't really require anything special, which is nice. I already have Invar and I already have bronze, so let's make 2 of these upgrades and add them in there, and then we're going to make 2 upgrades for them. So with that, we're going to grab some Invar. We need, I think, 8 pieces of Invar. We're going to need 2 pieces of iron, and we're going to need 8 pieces of bronze. I think that's all we need. Let's double check here. Yep. Oh, and 4 pieces of redstone. Okay, there we go. So let's make our bronze gears first. And we have our 2 bronze gears right there. And then all we have to do is shift click it in there and we have our 2 hardeners. Now, to put these hardeners in place, all we're going to have to do is shift click on the device itself and it makes that beautiful sound and says block successfully upgraded. So we upgraded both of them. So what does that do for us exactly? So let's look inside of our dynamo here. Let's choose our compression dynamo. And under the augmentation section, it gives us a slot to be able to modify how this compression dynamo works, or the other steam dynamo. So with that, we go here into our menu and we search until we find the augmentations, and we find the one or ones, depending upon what level you put it at, that you think would best help us. So I think in this one, I think we're just going to go with the auxiliary transmission coil. It increases the RF power generation. Now I assume it's going to consume more fuel based on the energy, but we can test that out later, and I can let you guys know in a later episode how that works out. But let's build 2 of these. So what we're going to need is we're going to need some silver, and we're going to need transmission coils. So it requires more silver in and of itself. So that'll be 8, 9, and 4. So for each of them, we're going to need 9. Yeah, 9, right? Let me double check that. Oh, that one's for the other one. That's for pulverizer. I got confused there for a second. I thought I was looking at the wrong one. Okay, so we will need 4, 5. So that means we'll need 10 of those. 3, 4. We'll need 4, 8. 8 of those. And then we will need 10 of these. So what we'll do is we'll grab a block and an ingot. That's our 10 right there. It's pretty easy. Okay, so with that, we'll start by making our transmission coil. So we only need 2 of those, and then we'll go into here and we'll make our 2 of these. It's pretty easy. So now we have our 2 upgrades. Let's see how much it modifies our dynamos. Just drop it right in there, and it increases our power generation to as much as both of our generators, which is super good. So let's throw some of our oil in there, since now we have some coolant. There's also an upgrade that will make it so that it doesn't require any additional coolant ever, which is pretty nice. Eventually we'll just have this piped in from a tank somewhere. So as you can see, it is now generating 120 RF per tick. That is significantly more power. I mean, it also is consuming more from our tank, but at this point we can spare the creosote oil to be able to fill up our cell here. So with that, we'll go into our Dynamo here, and I think you can even right click them on it. Yep, you can just shift click it on there and it will automatically install it. This one is exactly the same, 120 RF a tick. So let's go grab a piece of coal and see how long this lasts. So we got a piece of coal here, and we'll just throw it in there and see how long it burns that coal. Whoops, went too far. So there it goes. It's burning it fairly quickly and consuming quite a bit of water, but we are producing a ton of power. So another thing we can do is we're going to eventually fill this up. We're almost full on our energy cell, and I think to help augment that, let's make another one of those upgrade kits. So let's go back to our menu here, and let's grab 4 more pieces of bronze, invar, iron, you know, the whole 9 yards. Okay, so invar. Okay, got 4 of those and 2 of these. And that should be all that we need to make this kit. So let's make our gear first. There we go. Those blocks are always getting in the way. And then we'll make that one. And now we have an upgrade for our energy cell. I wonder if it gives us an augmentation slot. I'm not entirely sure. But if you look at it, it increased it to 8 million from its 2 million capacity that it had before. That is an amazing upgrade. That's 4 times as much that it can hold now. And it can also increase its transfer rate from 1,000 to 4,000. But if you look, there is no augmentations for energy cells, and that's okay. I don't really need it anyway. So I think that about wraps up what we have for this episode, because now we have full-blown power generation for our system, which is really, really nice. So that's 120 plus 120 plus 120. We have 360 RF per tick power generation if they're all running at the same time, and that is just amazing. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in for this episode and seeing us increase what we can do with our power here. So I think we're going to call this episode to a close, and I thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you can, comment. Tell me what you think about this setup. How can I improve it? What can we make better? I'm always willing to listen to what you guys have to say, and thank you guys again for watching.